Number one, what would you do first?
Multiply the exponent.
Distribute your exponent. So, what's your new denominator, Lenore? Into the what? Into the sixth. And what do you do about the numerator? Yeah, just keep it the same for now. Okay. Step one, distribute the exponent, power of a power. You know it's a power of a power because of the parentheses. Notice, power of a power, parentheses. They all start with P, so it's pretty easy to remember. Now, I'm right here, and Plato, what would you do next?
Still a number, what?
Uh-huh. Simplify, great. How would you simplify?
I'm gonna take it one anyway.
Okay. This is m to the first, so 6 minus 1 is what?
Alright.
Great. Where's it go? Top or bottom? Or, excuse me, numerator or denominator? Okay.
And you're gonna write the two to the third.
What is 2 to the third?
8.
Yeah, 2 times 2 times 2, so 2 times 2 is 4 times 2, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay.
Then bring the e to the 6 down. Then the p gonna stay up there.
Answer choice. B. What was crazy? It's a 3-step process, very straightforward. Yes, sir.
He's suspended. Smith.
Calvin Smith, he's on suspension. He's on suspension, I believe. Yes, sir. Very simple process, 3 steps. Step number 1, distribute the exponent, power of a power. Carlos, stop pooping and start listening. Power of a power. So you multiply exponents. Then it's a fraction, so you subtract exponents. You put the m wherever it was highest. Since it was highest in the denominator, you put m to the 5th in the denominator. N and p don't have a partner to reduce with, so you just leave them where they are.
So 3 times 2.
3.
6.
2 right here, 2 has an exponent. The exponent is what?
1.
1. So 3 times 1 is 3.
Alright.
3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. Remember, if it doesn't have an exponent, the exponent is 1. Both of these are exponents of 1.
Alright, okay. How you gonna know to start from the bottom or the top?
Start from the bottom or top. Doesn't matter where you start.
So no. Like if it had like number 1 again. I don't even know how to explain it to you, so
Okay, always look for the parentheses first. If there are parentheses, you have to distribute that exponent. If there are not parentheses, then you're at this step. And at this point, you just simplify. So you're reducing the variables that have a numerator and denominator.
Okay, I got it a little bit. Alright, like on the first step, you got 1, 2, 2, How you put the 2 up there on the top instead of the bottom?
The 2,
Right here, the 2, 3. You see it start with 2L.
right, the 2 was in the denominator, so there's a 1 right here, so I'm just distributing right there. So it stays in the denominator.
Okay.
I can't think of any reason that you would move it, so hard for me to understand your question there.
It's hard for me to explain to you, sir.
All right, let's keep doing some problems, and I think we'll get it. Question for you, Audrey. Go. Number 2.
Friday had the best time of your life.
Carlos, which one of these is supposed to be positive? Which one's supposed to be negative?
Positive 3, nah. Positive 3 and positive 4.
I don't know which I'm at.
Is 4 supposed to be subtract 4?
Why subtract 4?
Because the first one is subtract 4.
Oh, yeah,
Both
subtract.
the highest numbers in
It's
that
gonna be plus 4.
You want to match up that middle term with your highest factor.
I don't get it.
The middle term is what sign? Positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. So the highest number has to be negative.
Let's see.
Okay. Answer choice. I agree.
Hey, how you get a 1 when you say a 3 and a 4?
Because the only way you can multiply to 4 is 4 times 1 or 2 times 2. Why doesn't 2 times 2 work?
Because 4 don't take away.
You can't add or subtract these to get 3. Exactly. But 4 and 1, if you subtract them, you get 3. 2 and 3 are just review because you're going to need this review today and tomorrow. Number 3.
What is hard? You just bring down your 6x. You open up your parentheses. You divide everything in there by 6.
Okay, stop right there. So the GCF she found was 6x. Why? Because every term is divisible by 6, and every term has at least one x. So now let's divide everything by 6x. 6 divided by 6 is 1. I had 3 x's. I took away 1. 2 left.
It's going to be plus 8.
Yep. Not to the second because it's x squared here, and you factor out 1, so how many are left? Negative 54 divided by 6 minus 9.
I thought you did it about add 54 to add 54.
Now, factors of 9 that give you a positive 8. It's got to be 9 and 1. Which one should be negative and which one should be positive? The 9's positive because your middle term is positive. Answer choice B. Factoring. You do need to remember how to factor. Crucial, very important. Always look for a G, C, F. Take your warm-up, set it aside. Look at today's notes in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, it's happened to all of us. Friday morning, mom or dad or whoever you stay with is dropping you off for school, and it's a rainy morning, and you're not really feeling it, so you got a little bit of an attitude, and you say something you shouldn't say. And since it's Friday, ooh, bad mistake, because now mom's going to say, "No, Eric, you are not going out tonight. No, you are restricted from going out Friday and Saturday. All weekend, you got to stay at the home. You got to stay at home. Okay? You are restricted from going out." Restrictions means you don't belong. You can't do it. Okay? And finding the restrictions on a multiplication problem with fractions is super simple. So that's what we're going to do first, and then after that we're going to reduce our fractions. So you can see right here we are multiplying two fractions, and step one, like I said, is find the restrictions. In other words, find the numbers that are not allowed to be in our answer. Now here's why they can't be in the answer before we actually do the process. Take your calculator in your hands. Okay, do 5 divided by 0.
0.
Undiff. What's that stand for?
Undefined.
Undefined. So you cannot divide by 0. It's a rule. If you divide by 0, you don't get a number. If 0 is in the denominator, it does not work. It can't happen. You just can't do it. So, what number right here would make this 0? 3. Why? Because 3 minus 3 is what? Okay, now watch this. That would make the whole denominator 0. Here's why. That would be 0 times, it doesn't matter what this is, and it doesn't matter what that is, because 0 times anything is what?
0.
So if 0 is in any one of these denominators, the whole thing is going to be undefined. We can't have that. So we have to restrict certain numbers. We have to ban certain numbers from the club. Okay, now here's how you do that. X, right now you can start writing with me. X cannot be. We already said X cannot be 3. You know, all I'm wondering is what would make this 0. So something plus 7 would give me 0. Negative 7. What minus 2 would give me 0? Positive 2. Step 1. Step 1, write down all restrictions. Those numbers are banned from being in the club. Why? It would be undefined. They would make the club go, and it would no longer exist. And they would make the number not be a number. Only for the denominator. So notice what we did there. We only did that with these numbers down here, right? That's all I was doing. Okay. All right, let's move on to part 2. I'll get read out for that. Part 2 is this. Reduce the fraction. So just like when you were in 6th grade and you were reducing fractions, if the same thing's in the numerator and the denominator, then they cancel out, right? Let's do the same thing here. Does x minus 2 have a match? I believe it does. Over there.
Yeah. Nope. 7 got a match.
X plus 7 definitely has a match. X plus 3, does it have a match? No. Now notice. Let's write our final answer here. What's left over? In the numerator, what's left? X plus 3. And in the denominator, x minus 3. Coach, let's reduce the x's. No. You cannot do that. This is your final answer. Now let me explain why. I'll explain one time. X is not one number that can be reduced. So there aren't 4 numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 2 numbers. The first number is x plus 3. The second number is x minus 3. That's one word in my mind. X plus 3. That's one word, one number. The only thing that can reduce with x plus 3 is x plus 3. You can't like half reduce it. It's kind of like this. If you had an 8 and a 9, you can't reduce these and say, you know, I'm going to reduce the top half of that and the top half of that and say that it reduces to 0 over 1. No, you can't do that. It's the same thing right here. You can't just start cutting these numbers apart. Okay? It's the exact same thing. And that's it right there. Now let me take you to the next level, which is pretty straightforward. But I do want to show you right away. Look at number 9. Sometimes it won't be a multiplication problem. It will be a division problem. Now division is very straightforward. It's almost the exact same process with one slight change. And here it is. Excuse you. Are you ready? I hope so. I sure hope so. Pick up your pencil. That's going to help you, right?
You haven't wrote that back down yet.
I'm getting ready to. If I sit like this for 10 minutes, you should still have your pencil in your hand. Always ready to write it any second. Now the first fraction, leave it exactly the same. Change the division sign to a multiplication sign. Once again, you did this also in like 5th grade. When you first learned how to do fractions. Then take the reciprocal. Reciprocal, refliprical. You should be able to see what I did there. I flipped the numerator and the denominator. So let's review. Leave the first fraction the same. Change the division sign to a multiplication sign. And take the second fraction and flip it. What's that? Perpendicular slopes. You change a sign and flip and take the reciprocal. Okay. Now we can do the exact same process we just did. So what's first?
Express how far the like times.
Before that.
It can be
X
equal to 0.
X equals X cannot equals to P minus 10.
So P minus 10, so what would you say?
X
Positive 10.
Positive
equals
10.
with a negative. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
X does not equal.
I said equal with a line in it. 10.
It's not equal with a line in it. It's X does not equal.
Okay, X does not equal.
Because X is restricted from being that. It can't be it.
Bracket. Positive 10.
What about right here?
Uh,
What number would you put into this to make it 0?
minus 10.
No.
Zero. What's
I
zero?
heard. Because 0 squared is what? 0 times 10 is...
Undefined.
Slow down, Carlos.
I'm listening to him, man. I'm thinking down follow myself. 0. And positive 1.
Okay, you found the restrictions. X cannot be 10, 0, or 1.
Yeah. What she said.
You know what? I'm going to put my final answer over here.
I ain't even got no world.
Separate sheet of paper is your best friend.
I ain't even got no paper, man. That's a good problem.
Now, 10p squared can reduce.
Up, 10p. You can put that, that p minus 10, yeah. That p minus 1, yeah. You live with p minus 2. P minus 2 over 1. P minus 2 over 1.
What is p minus 2 over 1?
1.5. P over 2.
P minus 2.
Minus 2. Oh, let me get the steps. 10p, 10p. That. Into this man. What a time,
Where did the 1 come from?
man.
There's nothing left in the denominator, so 1. Technically speaking, I would never even put over 1. I would just put p minus 2. Yes. 10, 0, 1? Yeah, it's a 10. Now, the back, I'm going to save the back for tomorrow. So right now you can get started on your homework, which is finish the front.
All the front of it, probably.
Make sure you look and see, is it a multiplication or is it a division?